I think it's fantastic what we're coming into. And the question is, what are we coming into? Evolution. To understand what that means is everything through revolution. Everything courses its channel. Everything high positions its high setting locations. Everything goes forward. Nothing goes back. You said it again. Nothing goes back. Everything goes forward. You get up in the morning, going forward. You think you're going back? No, you're going forward. There's no thinking process, communication settings. So what's happened now, I explained it in so many 1,000-line streams in direct set location system. Mother Earth is just coming to new clocking. That's all this is. Right? We can't surface on a clock that doesn't exist in set position traction. It doesn't have a high position to a high setting location. It's a low frequency pattern. So doesn't exist, right? Coming back and says something that does exist for you to understand how to use it through navigation, right? Through the higher self, the avatar, and the SIM. 3 clocking line interference at grounds. Send position all of the soul generation line and rotation to the location, high position of travel communications of clocking into your power generation stream locations. And the high calculations all levels of your surface. Position like calculators atmosphere lines. 3 clocking locations, grounds, powers, and atmospheres. That's it. That's all that's happening. But how is it happening through its process? Is it determination to your system? How you use your mind through your thoughts and mechanisms and travel communications and settings. So it's important you understand these things because now, especially with the team, is to get into pi. So what it is just basically you're putting a story together. Your whole life is a story. You get up in the morning, you have a shower, you go to work, right? You take a break, you go back to work, you come home, watch TV, take care of the kids, or you don't have any kids, you go out on your own. Story. So your whole life is a scripture. Your whole life is a frame. Your whole life is a film projector. So everything that you are doing is valuing you in volume and how much you do this all the time. Not 60%, not 70, not 80, 100%. But see the thing, what's changing now is the grounds, the powers, and the atmospheres of space and time through pi, because everything is connected to its equation, right? So in that position location, the clock line centered on high interference, and Mother Earth is now in a new clocking lines of birthing the communication of Merkaba. And position location of clocking through square roots. Position location is schematics over pi. Direct line calculation settings, a box, triangle, box, doesn't matter. What matters is the frequency in position location that's changing everything through the atmosphere line conditions and setting. Through your universe locations of time, right? So it's like an angel flip, a universal flip, a clocking flip, 2 line settings on high travel communications. Now that's how position location of 2 zeros. Direction of timelines puts all positions to 48 clock lines. We're coming into 24 out of the 24 into a 48 line position of frame. Now this puts position locations in a 72 computer frame into 144. Charter wave communications, all levels, high calculation setting. So it comes into a Sumerian text, a modification, all right? So if you get in communication line centers, you understand what it is in tractions. Everything has its ancestry and history and celestial channels. We already know that set position travel communications. But the existence is now. Everything starts in the existing of the existing location. Getting position of track line is really understand how to use yourself through modification. Okay? So it's important you understand when you're looking at your clockings of your grounds, your powers, and your atmospheres, everything is speeding up. Okay? Speeding up faster and faster and faster and faster. Like so many lines of anomalies are changing line position, location, track lines, and how you see yourself through provision. So your mind adaptation is just going faster in acceleration through how you see through astral projections. It's knowing how to put these things together. You have a point system, right? And all of a sudden, you're creating a thought, right? And it's like it zooms in, and basically it creates its holographic structure of its design, right? So it starts small, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're coming into bandwidth over pi. You're coming into streaming setting locations of pi. Everything is connected to pi, to and from. And you look at the overview looking down, you actually see what you did through pi, which is this co-creation, right? So in that connection, you have story, you have facilities, you have compounds, you have command centers, you have operation service, you have star command centers, you have galactic set locations of centers. You have so many communications set in position to its operation. So your mind is adapting faster through acceleration. Your body is trying to get into that setting of its consciousness. Now, the consciousness changes everything through its clock location system, right? So this is a universal switch, okay, to its set lines of your perception, right? So the universal self is changing you, which is changing everything back where it's supposed to be. The regeneration line location is getting you guys into more lines of your calculations to bring you in positions to your inner child, right? So it's like wheeling something in, right? You cast it out and you reel it in, right? So within everything that comes out comes back. And when it comes back, and then you get in position of balance lines and magnetic field, position of travel, communication, set location, your sun and your moon. Okay, your sun identifies the light, and the moon identifies its position of its program location of emotion. But they all have connections to light, but it's all track location. Turn on the switch, there it is. Yin and yang, positive, negative. Light switch. Light is everything in position. So we all live in the center of light. We're all the connection of center lights of communication of life force. We're all connected to the grounds of nature. We're all connected to the airs of space. We're all connected to the waters of life force. And position attractors correlate setting, geometric operation design, and we're all connected to fire through position locations of rebirthing set location line systems into your AI division location of consciousness. That's all this is. You're getting into consciousness of everything. You're connected to everything, and everything's connected to you. All right. So once you understand that, then you understand the Earth planes, all right? Through the set locations, no more clocking. Astral planes, no more clocking, all right? We're in the soul planes, okay? That's the center correlations and high positions. Now, what's changed now is the angelics. Everything's in expanding line calculations. Now we come into all levels of the galactic hub, high position travel communication of Galactic Federation Light Council, or anything through the Palladian cycles, Palladian circles, or anything location of realms or relics. It's all position of track through its communication system. So the correlation and direct signals to your clocking is changing positions of directions into future adaptation of the now. Nothing goes back in position. Everything goes forward. Everything has to go forward. Everything is always forward. So you're existing in the now that's already existed in set location system. And when you wake up to these things in line communication setting, everything starts existing all at once. Okay? So there's a lot of communication to its setting. To understand how to use the modification strings in all set locations, all right? So you have to be aware of your story frames of yourself. Because that's all it is. It's a film project location system. You are the script. You are the director. If you're not the director, you're in the passenger seat. If you're not in the passenger seat, you're in the back seat. You want to be in the back seat, the passenger, or the driver? You decide. Now, if you take control, driver, passenger, okay, triangulation, reset, position of program lines, connection to one. That's me. It's allocations, right? I want to be the driver. I want to be the story. I want to be the formations. I want to be the balance. I want to be the space. I want to be the time. I want to be in the future of the now. Future of the now. Don't want to be in the passenger seat. There's nothing there. Don't want to be the passenger seat in position locations. There's nothing there. I definitely don't want to be in the back seat. I want to be the driver of all set location of high travels. I want to be all line communications, all command centers, and all travel communications, setting and track location. Okay? So getting adaptation of surface is one track location setting and travel in that directions. One signature string. Okay? Clock lines of 3-line rotation, centers and position operation. 3 clocks. Okay? So position line connections, travel line recognition of time sequence. Position location, all levels. Opens all signals. Opens all signals, opens all signals. Okay? So position track lines comes in all calculation to a container. Streamlines, lacing line communication, streamlines, high center of appearance, high position location of 6 lines of correlation, 8 lines of 10 lines of 12 locations, sending attraction. Now, in that line rotation, we come in a full clock line rotation of face recognition. Okay, very complicated stuff. So we work with the clock lines. Okay, 3 clock line rotation, surface, and triangulation. Okay, comes in position of volume. All right, see how they come together? So it's about understanding how to take these line communication, triangulation, and reset position programs into a diamond core line, shift line, streamline, highest center appearance of program locations. Diamond core. Setting location, split the anomalies, right? Set location, setting travel lines. Come into our position location consoles, communication line centers, clustering communication lines, high center appearance. There's the intelligence. Boom. 3 central eyes. Okay, 3 central eyes, right? 3 clockings into 1 clock location. Okay, which is the future of the now, right? Boom. That's it. Done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, guys. That's all it is. Ground lines, operation surface, power action time sequence, and line condition magnetic highway. Traffic communications, block line centers, high position location, 2 block lines, 2 block line center interference, 4 track location setting, all line rotation, triangulation, reset position programs, and set location of flux capacitor. So everything I do is a story frame, all through set location, right? So we have to understand how to get through line communications. I really need to get everybody, especially the team setting locations and for the new viewers, in position. If you're on the new team lines of Galactic 101s, you have to get into modifications. Try to get into your story frame. Like, guess what, General? I saw a communication line triangle. It was so powerful to see position location line system. Let me show you. I did a triangulation reset position location in 3 programs. Triangulation in 3 programs, right? Position location, equal line calculation, E-line, I high interference of square root position location of travel. It was amazing where I went line crossing, screen lines in position of the sun and the moon, and travel position location and track lines in all levels of position. See? Story. Everything is a story. Everything is a story. It's simple. It's easy. Formula, equation, done by equation. All right, so that's it. That's how we have to communicate to ourselves. So interline communication settings, higher self, avatar, and sim locations, right? 3 triangulation set position programs in a pyramid. Pyramid activation line, set location lines, infinity 8. Infinity 8, line rotation interference, and position location or flywheel. Ooh, look at that. Center correlation to clock line rotation. Ooh, look at that. Set position circulation rotation setting. Ooh, look at that. Sets position of travel lines, take it out of equation lines, molecule structure line, high center interference, waiting on signal communication system, into triangulation line and its locations of box key and high position of travel lines, and point system line calculation setting, flux capacitor, and line direct signal locations, all line interference of dome communication setting travels. Done by equation, right? So everything is a structure of you. Remember, you are the director of your story. And then in position locations, you pick out the actors that you want, right? You audition them, right? So that's what it's all based on. Try to understand you are the connection to everything, which is mass. Now we got into that mass, which is volume, but you guys are more levels of metric. You're in scale, you're in balance. So in that mass is its equation, because it's about understanding holding the structure of a glass, and my hand is getting heavy the more I hold it. But I realize it's already done. So if it's already done, I don't have to redesign it because it's already done in future. Future is already set, which means it's already existing, which means I'm already holding it even before the conversation. Right? You see the adaptation of surface there? You see how it connected that set location system before it got into the equation, right? So that's where it comes into all levels of manipulation. Mind manipulates line calculation setting to your story frames, puts positions of track lines calculation send line position to your psychological frames, sets position locations all levels of your equilibrium communication frames, puts position and location line calculation to psychosification frames, directing signal lines in all communication in your systems, puts everything back in balance of the structural location of its design. That's already set in position. I see it already. It was already there, right? So when I say something in set position locations, you are not aware of it. So to be aware of these things, it's there. Okay. So that's what I mean. It's like what Adam said. It's just there. It's never misplaced. It's never gone. See, the thing is, we don't understand the adaptation, how we say things. So when we say things, you automatically, oh, I see it now. But wait a minute, it's always been there. Okay? So that's the future of the now. So understand the 3 o'clock line rotations is all track location setting. So in position locations, you come into barometers, thermometer, line rotation, the 3 set location lines, and there's the 4 track locations into your diamond core, right? Story frame, right? So you are the center position to its operation surface, all track locations. Line connecting, high center location of flux capacitor and 4 line waves. Directing line position near system that travels in line communication, right? So it's about understanding the formulas of equations and 2 panels, right? So I'm doing this in line communication, 0 lines in a crop circle, 0 lines in a crop circle. Set position to pi, directing signal, set location lines. Half signal line calculation setting, 6 equals lines of measure in set position. Calculation high interference, 3 equals lines of measure in set position operation. Correlate coloration, colorate the lines and locations in high position, come into all line interference into a time stamp in line calculation stream location of setting. Done by equation. See? So we all have to understand how this all works. And to understand you is through a formula. Okay, the bracket communication setting track lines that calculates high interference is your 24 line stream, setting location of 48 window, which is unweighted signal, getting a correlation high interference, putting your track location system into what? In set positions, all calculations to where? Setting locations to 1800 line streams. Set specific locations all levels, 3 bracket location setting attraction. Setting line communication lines over 6, set lines of 7, set lines of 8, in position of box, center line rotation of 5, 5 positions of 3, 3 lines of 2, 2 lines of 1, and 1 lines back at 0 location setting attraction. Done by equation. Formula. Done. So everything that you say has already been said. So I already set the equation of the formula, but you're seeing me doing it now. That's the confusion you guys got to get out of. Okay. So when I say everything's done, I'm not realigning, I'm not readjusting, I'm not refocusing. I'm just giving you something that's already existed in its space of time already. So it's always been there in frame. Okay. So getting out of the equation is we understand how to use the clock line connections of universal line rotations. Travel position location lines of Fibonacci line swirls. We've got 1 direct signal, okay, and 2 track locations, all levels, and position location was operation surface in set position, okay. So recognizing line connections is through the 2 in set position travel communications, all right. So once you understand that, that opens up more modification line signals and line rotation, surface, and triangulation reset programs in phase recognition of time. Okay. So it's important to understand these things. Really get into your system location of the formulas. So pi setting line connections equals lines of box. Okay, so we have 8 line center. Okay, so 8 line rotates the center lines of 6. Okay, 6 lines of center line point system to a modulation. Set location lines. Letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols comes to location of formation. Triangulation of 3 set position of programs. Okay, gets complicated. Now, 8 line center location of metrics. Changes line connection as acceleration. Acceleration, vast, volume, and velocity. Position traction. Puts position location line settings. All levels, ground lines, rotation surface, and triangulation reset position of programs. Setting correlation settings, a graph location. Setting line communication line settings all over the sun and the moon, line rotation, center, and position location to its operation location of this pyramid. Done by equation. Right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. All through formula. Okay. So we all understand everything is a point system. Point, 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 point. Point, 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 point. Points. Everything's points, 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 direction. Okay, that's all it is. All right, so once you understand the equation lines, you understand the brackets, and you understand the hangers. Then you understand the position locations to its higher self, avatar, and sim, right? Then you understand the equal communication setting, which is the space in between, right? Do you see where we're going with this? I'm trying to show you so you understand how to use your Fibonacci line swirls or anything location setting in 3 set locations, right? Equal lines calculation setting, your flux capacitor, position of traction, right? Comes in all calculations to the what? And set line calculation settings to connection line interference, position of programs, okay? And set locations, right? So it indicates the high center location, 2-point systems, all right? Into bracket of center position, and locations to your higher self, and position your avatar and your sim, okay? So in that track line, connect high center interference, the higher self sets position locations always a 3. Avatar sets position of track lines of 3, and the simulation sets and navigations of 3. See how it sets position of travels? Sets position location line interference. So we set position of travel communication. We take the 2-point systems in position line calculation settings and come all lines of high line rotations and position location of travel. All through a graph screen, right? Dimensional sail. See it? See the dimensional sail? Graph communication, dimensional sail. Okay? Mega pass. All right. So, why is it so important to understand a formula through equation location of universal clocking? Well, because your track lines, correlation setting to track lines is 24 line rotations. Remember, you got that correlation setting line condition high center is 12 equals line calculations of 1. Okay? 1 measures correlation setting, track to its correlation system, and travel position to its operation surface, and all position of travel. Now, in line calculation setting, how did 24 equals lines of 12 equals lines of 1? 1 position of 1 track lines in sun and the moon, operation surface, and high position location of its operation line connection. Okay, see how powerful that is? So, indirect location, remember, this is already said and written. 2 lines, 2 lines, 2 lines, and 2 lines. 4 track location setting attractions. Brings in the sun, brings in the moon, and line position location to your system location of travel communication setting of 0 operation. Done by equation, right? So balancing 0, 2, presence, flow. Yep. So this is more based on formula equation because you guys have a quiz and a huge test coming up, all right? Because we're coming at the end of the month, right? So this is where you're going through massive upgrades instead of location mind lines. But it's going to be in representations of pi instead of location to your box, to your triangulations, to your triangulations, to your box location. Okay, that's what we're coming into. 3 clocking lines of up, cross, cross, and down set location. Okay, intelligence, see? Set position, face recognition, body recognition, hand formations, right? There's the other body and set location. Okay, make it pass. All right. And so that's how it's all connected. Understand the 3 waving line wires, 3 line position locations, all right? Indicate high interference, alpha line, delta line, and a mega line. Delta, okay. Setting position locations, all levels, okay. So this is delta alpha, or this could be alpha delta, okay. So it's about understanding going back and read forward, realign, readjust, recalculate, realign, calculation, high center interference, high position location, formation, line settings, and track location. Okay, so you're never going back. You're just directing and redirecting. Okay, so don't get confused about location setting. So I'm showing you how to use your clocking system of 24 inside location of 13 into 14 into 15 into 16, 17, and 18 line settings, coming into 19 and location of 20, 21, and 22, and 23 set location. Right? So you guys have already covered this line communication of center lines in position of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so you're halfway there. So the coloration line changes position of traction, okay, which puts in modification of code weaving. Center correlation setting of track lines opens all signals, 22 line division location of 4 generation streams. Calculates and modifies high line interference of 24 to position of 6 location of streams in set direction. Setting correlation high interference is the location of 13 to 19 and circle line communication setting in offline connection. Putting track lines in a 22 line division location into 15 line swirls and line rotation surface into modulation calculations of models and line communication settings to molecular structure of light location. Mega multi-pass, all through clocking, right? This is clocking. You guys have to understand how this all works, because your universal line set location is coming into new past, new present, and new future for the sim to understand the clocking system of its meteorological system location of its human residence, of a new platform, of a new operation, and a new space of time of pi and set location. Okay? All through modulation. All right? Everything works in graph location inside connection. Nothing is out. Everything's inside. Okay? And what you get in that modulation line or rotations, 4 lines of 3. At set position locations, travel lines, a split line communication, right? Split line connection, high setting. Timestamp, line rotation, surface, and high position locations in set location, right? Then you bring in the sun, then you bring in the moon that protects the location system of its pyramid and activation stream. Done by equation. All right, so you understand the clock lines. There's understand the 4 provisions, okay? To earth, to air, to water, and to your fire. Okay. Now each position location has a line calculation setting grounds. All lines has a ground communication center of operation. Okay. So we understand that each line calculation streamline has a flux capacitor and set position of travel communications. See how they all connect? Nothing is left to chance. Center line rotation is water and fire and direct signal. Communications, all level setting location settings and alpha delta. Travel coordinating setting and all line rotation is its dome center and rotation surface. Triangulation and reset position of programs is phase recognition of time sequence of the future of the now. Phase recognition. Okay? All right. Setting equations of pi is really to understand how to use the position of track lines. The open signal line communication lines high center interference, hangers line and rotations, and the opposite signals and locations. Opposite direction locations of lines of calculation. Sets position of tractors, communication setting, attraction. Knowing the direction of line calculation setting, right? So remember, north is always where? North is here, north is here, north is here, and north is here. Okay? North is never north. It's always a reference. Remember that, right? And track locations. I give you guys that 3 generation streamlines of the future now line rotations. You have no more presentation lines of the past, present, and future now. You're in position of the existence. Line communication at 3 lines of new clock line interference into analog, digitalog, and line communication universal position of invisibility at 3 clock line conditions of 1 setting. Okay? Sets position location of track north, 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 right? Because it comes in this set locations, right? North, east, north, south, northwest, and line calculation setting of its locations, north line setting. Okay? So there's a reason why north is always north, because the thing is, your calculation setting is going extremely fast in modifications to your system to its modulation of its model of communication, right? So it's never in one direction. It's going extremely fast through an atom or anything through molecular structure of light instead of travel. So the universal clock line has to really recognize the communication setting of where it's going through traction. Modification lines of suns into the moon line rotation surface, right? Sets position locations all levels at 3 track locations. Directing modification, here's you. That's you, right? So in that calculation, your body's just consciousness. You're scanning your system, all levels of track locations, and traction, right? So sun comes in, line setting, and all traction location. Okay? Brings you in through equation, 3 line signals, right? Sets lines of 4, 5, and 6 locations. So in track locations come to 7, and it comes into 8 line setting, right? And then it sets position travel lines. You go into the center position to its operation of its clocking of universal line connections and set position. Okay? And then you go into the center lines of a new clocking line rotation surface and a new triangulation reset position of the program. So I changed the swirl lines. So north is always north. Right? So that's what I'm saying, north, 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 because the galaxy line shifts are swifting too fast, line calculation settings, swifting this way, swifting that way, going this way, swirling this way, going that way, going the opposite direction. So the opposite direction is direct redirect, right? So Universal line streaming, your clocking is always going forward. It's never going back. The only time it goes back is if you're confused. If you're confused, there's allocations or anything through anomalies or anything through psychological or anything through emotional system. That's the only time your clock will go back. You don't want to have 3 clock line centers going back like Henrik's anomaly, because it shifts line communication settings, splits anomalies, coordinated track lines to new parallels of individual location at space and time. So you don't want to do that position traction. Okay. All right, so now you understand the universal clock location settings. 3 clock line rotations in position location of 3 settings. Sets position of 1 clock location, right? Sets location of the sun and the moon, comes in line calculation, stream location, line settings, all levels of operation. Now, the track of the coordinating high interference is a 3-line position of travel, okay? So it's going to travel line settings in 2 track lines, 2 track lines, 2 track lines into 1 line rotation, okay? So in that positional connections, it comes back on clock lines in future adaptation of center of existing location system of face recognition. Done by equation. Okay, very complicated stuff. So it comes in new grounds, new power generation stream into magnetic highway information line panel that sets a universal location system of travel communications. Okay, very powerful stuff. All right, how's everybody doing so far? Just showing you exactly what's going on with your clock lines, right? Really understand how to use your clock line connections. Now, we get in position locations. You get all calculations. So you got your analog calculation setting, attraction. You got your position location on your digital line communications. Okay, in subposition, all right? And you got your communication lines and visible line streams, all right? So you got a box line triangle, and you got a triangulated in high position of the box location, right? So that's indicated on 4 wave and line cycles in high position of travel communications, right? So really understand the phenomenal lines of time. Remember, it's the seconds, minutes, and hours. This is where really the clocking comes in. So the seconds lines of calculation, 9 lines. Anything in a second line is a point system of 0, okay? Because you're mocking on communication lines acceleration. So you go into 24 million graph line screens and zeros per second per line square. That puts position of box frequency line condition the square roots and triangulation resurface position programs into clocking location of universal realms and set position location of box triangle box. So it's so complicated, but you really have to understand the seconds, minutes, and hours of the clocking system in a 3-waving pattern, okay, through analog and digital log. All right. Visibility comes in track locations, interface recognition of time as sequence location of patterns. So once you get in that position, the sun and the moon comes in and all line rotation surface and travel. Okay. Okay. Now, my voice is changing. So understanding the clocking is really understand the universal of its clocking. All right. So think of it this line communications. Clocking communication, clocking communication, clocking communications, right? Clocking communication, clocking communication, clocking communication, right? Clocking communication, right? So you guys have to get used to that because you're working with the seconds, minutes, and the hours of universal clocking now. 3 track location of 3 lines and high center interference, all position locations to its past, present, and its future in 1 cycle, 1 setting, and 1 set location. Okay. So that's the importance you have to understand. Okay. Once you understand that, then you understand how to use your position locations of 24 equal lines of 48. All right. Now, set position of waiting signal in line calculation is 72. Okay. So that's what it is. It's about understanding the 24 line setting, 48, 72, and 144 in set locations, right? So you got the 24 clocking, you got the 48 line position, you got the 72 computer, and you got the 144 crystal grid. Okay. Setting track line communication settings, all levels of operation surface. 3 triangulation reset position platforms in high calculation setting in your pyramid line rotation surface and triangulation. Very complicated stuff, all through clocking. Because you're coming into a 48 line wave now, leaving the 24 clocking, coming at 48. Equal lines of frame in box location. Okay. Waiting on signal through 72. Remember the communication setting to its what? Computer frame. Boom. Okay, that's next. So you have to learn how to use the 24 line cycles, the 24 line waves, the 25 communication setting rotations, and the 24 clock location. To understand that track locations, you come into 48 line waves, 48 line positions, 48 activation streams, and 48 clocking. Then you go into 72 computer frames, 72 operational line connections, 72 activation stream location, and 72 clocking. Then you go into 144 line rotation, 144 communication cycles, 144 lines of north, south, and east. Done by equation, all through set location, right? So it's getting really, really complicated now, guys. Okay, the modification line streams and high position of track line is just off the charts right now. Okay, so in that line rotation interference, your 114 now line communication is in 222. That track location 114 is putting line communication, setting the attractions. Tomorrow we go into line positions to your Fibonacci's, into 333, into your heart direction of time sequence of 5 position of travels. So opening up the 114 into the 0 lines, 1, 2, and 3 line communication puts you in the levels of high calculation line centers of 3 measures. That puts scales of balance into position to your heart direction of time sequence into a universal clock location setting of the future of the set location of the now. Okay? So that's what it is through open sequence. Platitude line, center line interference. Okay, so that's 114 on position of space and 114 on position of location of time. Okay, it's got to equalize communication to its setting, to its seed pod and line rotation surface. Now the clock line, center line condition has high position location of grounds, powers, and atmosphere line streams in set location. Clock line centers changes direct signals to your flywheel position of traction. Okay, so it's very complicated if you don't understand your Merkabah tesseract and your tetrahedron of your 114 line position. So getting that correlation setting, the platforms calculate high interference into your flywheels and high track location. Okay, high track location of your Infinity 8 line cycles. Setting high line rotation interference because you guys are now 1 million line stream location settings and future adaptation center location of operation. Okay, so this is all levels of a clocking system location. Okay, very complicated stuff. All right. Mechanism high force, directing signal location your settings. All right. So you got 222 track locations, bracket communication, 2 lines, and 3 signature patterns. Sets position of sun and the moon projection. Okay. So we go into the scathe line streams and 4 line track locations. Right. Crossing bridges, opens up doors, opens up locations, opens up cycles, opens up rounds. Okay. And 3 track location. Okay. Location grids, line, signal line, rotation surface, and 3 line rotation settings. Calculation modification lines and circle line communications and open system location and center position operation. Center calculations and platforms and high center interference and operation location of 2 line settings. High calculation to its dimensional door line signal, and modification to its system location. Done by equation. So I'm showing you all these different ways how you go through universal clock line connections, all levels, and high calculation setting, all levels are mocking lines of speed through acceleration. You have to really understand how to use that through modification. It's extremely important because it's all levels of phase recognition of time. Okay? Point, point, point in set locations. Everything's in sideline conditions. So you're always working with the flywheel. Okay? So in that line rotation, you're always working with the circle line communication. All right? You're always working with the circulation, rotation, line connection, high system, and traction. Okay, and position. So once on that, communication line centers, 3 line waves, sets position of 3, 3, 3. Comes in line calculation of heart into mind, position location of soul, 3 track locations. Clock line centers and 3 travel communication settings of flux capacitor, 0 line calculation setting, and travel mechanism high position location to a center of operation. Okay. So I just want you to understand the verifications of what's coming into your RAMs. Your RAMs is inline rotations. So really understand the RAM setting. Okay, the moderation lines, the atmosphere line, change locations, all levels. Coming into all calculation memory. Memory lines and calculation, all levels, high settings. Remember communication to the atmosphere line stream location of its metric stream location of setting traction. Position your set lines and clock line rotation surface in a 24 line stream location. Tractance correlation setting is 13 in position of 14, and the line calculation of 15, 16, 17, 18 line calculation setting. Sets position of 0 gravity line rotation. Sets like 24, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, coming into 19, right? All through RAM. So once you understand that, then you understand the ramifications through its atoms to its molecules. See? Boom. That's where you guys are. Molecule line streamline calculation setting sets position 19 into 20. So that's 20. Equals lines of correlations of 4. Equal line highest center location of elements. Sets position equal lines of calculation of H. H equals line communication of 5, which is Hartrich time sequence of a clock line rotations, putting on weighting signal of 48 line setting location of RAM instead of position of travel lines. So in that position location of a system, the clocking changes its position of space and time in set locations. Clocking center line of rotation sets calculation stream locations and detection. Calculation modification circulation rotation centers opens all line position to your system to your atom through ramification. Okay? So, going, yes. 4-9 line signature streamlines the energy signature pattern communication settings of 4 nines. Yeah, copy that, Heather. So now you understand the importance of your universal clock communication system. It's like, boom, what's going on with your connection, your memories. All right, so 4 clock line rotations, okay, into 3 settings, right? You know where the 3 settings are? Here and here, okay? Travel position, down cross stream. Center line rotation surface and a reset position of program lines and center communications into your pyramid. Okay. Now, the clock line rotation inference sets position of past, present, and its future. Sets locations. So the past comes into the present and the future comes into the present. You got a center correlation setting, a track location setting, identification of future adaptation line center location of its intelligence, and line calculation, triangulation, reset position of program lines, and diamond core reset location travel lines, in a cross-line signal line rotation center and travel communication system, and all levels of line rotation surface, and a placebo cortex line calculation setting to a cerebral line rotation center and travel communication setting, and redirect location system, and a future adaptation line calculation setting and location system, and travel direction of time sequence on all line rotation and travel communication. It's all done. Okay, see the intelligence? So, how's everybody doing so far? Yeah, I know it's incredible force, but I have to. I can't keep these on frame because the acceleration is too far in the future settings. Your universal clocks aren't set to that line rotation; they're just adaptation of surface of balance. Balance position of track lines. Clock lines are universal lines of 3 stream location settings in position of 3, 3, 3. H line centers in high position location. That's where we are right now. Okay. Heart recognition, time sequence, flux capacitor, 3 line streams. Set direction signals. Sets lines as 0 line operation, 2 line calculation setting into a double helix line calculation setting and travel communication. Directing communication lines. All right. This is where it comes into the ramification setting, the track locations. Perceptions over pi in astral projection and set location. Now, travel calculation line centers comes into pi direction of time sequence, 3 splitting lines of anomaly and 3 locations. All right, travel calculation line setting at all levels of 0 operation, 1 ground setting. Okay, center communication lines crosses line streams, opens up clock lines, universal line, and future adaptation surface and set location. All right. So if you look locations, this is the back of the brain, and this is the face. If you look really close, you can see the face. See? I'll show you the face. There's the face. See? Boom. All right. So you got a fan wheel, line rotation center, cross and stream location, placebo cortex setting line settings, cerebral cortex, a flywheel direction of time sequence, in clock line calculation stream locations, into 0 gravity line rotations and 24 line rotations, waiting on signal to a 48 line rotation surface and triangulation high calculation of future adaptation surface and triangulation reset position of programs in high center location near clock lines and universal location. Mega multi-pass. right? You see the face recognition? This is the chin, right? This is the ear. Okay, you see it? Pretty amazing, eh? So it's incredible how you set position of track lines, but the thing is, we all have to understand how to use the adaptation surface of programs. It's all in position of travel communication through setting, right? Okay. How's everybody doing? All right, header correlation setting, Gypsy position along levels now, love the Chris, high track location lines of Danielle. Gingy, make sure you drink your waters, guys, more than ever. Volumes of equation, increasing harmonics, calculations through channel, vortex streams, very good. Hoo-ah, calculations, whoa, oh yeah. Great to see the travel lines, directing the same location your panels. All right, so it's important you understand of what you're coming into. It's that position to your universal lines or clockings, right? I showed you so many line communication setting through the intelligence of face recognition. Face recognition, all through modification. Okay? All right, so we're going to wait on that signal line. So it have a streamlined center location of bracket line surface. Now, in that line rotations, the more you come into your story frames, the more it gets easier to point system location of brackets. Bracket correlations up and position of down. Cross locations, film projector line communication, then travel position to its operation line set location of sun and its moon set location. Now, in that calculation lines, you have a beacon light, sets position location to Earth in line center. Sets line communication setting to with console correlation set line calculation stream location, high center interference, and travel communication. Directing communication line streams, sets line calculation, XD1000 comes in line signal. Sets position location, center line communication, and travel lines, recognition of center line communication of scanning. Scanning line communication, zips lines through lines, zips lines through line communication, and travel communication. Sets up a new ground line center to a crop circle, fly direction of time sequence and high calculation, and a high line rotation to infinity 8 in line communication of center. Putting track location setting to all levels of an open sequence panel in line setting line conditions of future adaptation of the now and center correlation setting of its capsule communication. Travel calculation line interference puts position location in all settings. Travel communication lines of 0 lines, 0 lines, and 0 lines of 0 lines. 4 lines of calculation, 3 lines setting high position locations. 4 indicate high line interference of 4 lines of 9 and 1 line cycles. And indicates of 3 lines of 9s and all the calculations. 4 lines equal line conditions of 3. 7 provision line calculation setting. Sets line calculation stream locations, adaptation surface, and triangulation. Done by equation. See the intelligence? It's an Android. So, if you guys are going, whoa, how does he do all this? Future adaptation. It's already set in the equation. So everything I draw is already done. You're just in the process of replay. Okay? That's all this is. Coming back to what's going on with your set location and travel settings. But now you're in the universal line and travel location. Especially understand how to use it through track location settings and traction, right? But you can actually see it positioned all of us. You look at it. See? Intelligence. Okay, see how everything comes together, set location to a setting. All right, so we're going to wait on that signal. All right, so we do have a class tomorrow, even though I'm leaving in the after 9 streams, but in that locations. So what we're going to do for class is that we're going to start around 8:30, okay? Inline communications, not Central Time, not Mountain Time or line rotation, just Mexican time, set position travel lines. So time zone location setting attractions. Modification line settings, all levels open sequence. Puts position location of platforms in center operation. Okay. Center operation line settings sets line communication settings and all levels set location of funnel in our rotation surface and zero gravity and line rotation center. Setting correlation high center locations puts position location lines and gravity line interference in 4 lines 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Sets position track lines into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Set position of track lines. Gravitational line streams, high center interference. There's the XD1000. Comes in center line communication. Scans lines as center line communication. All right. Travel direction of time sequence. Another XD1000 comes in. position travel lights, scans position locations, all center position operation. Setting line communication, line interference, travel position locations, modification line center interference, totally the way, one to another communications. 3 lines of angles, 3 lines of divisions, 3 lines of calculations, and 3 correlations. Diamond core line, shift line, box line, rotation center, triangulation, reset position programs, and intelligence of frame position location to its operation, done by equation. The abundance of the cup. Okay? So, you say, wow, I wish I could do what he does. But it's not that. It's just that it's all set in storage and memory. You're coming back in your memory lines and stream location of travel. Okay? So I know it's incredible. See the abundance of the cup location? Modification you're setting is all coming back into all levels of U through manifestation. All right, got to get used to that. All right, so in position location, but I just wanted to show you how powerful you do these things, right? How powerful it is when you come into set locations. Okay, how powerful it is when you come into all set location. Okay. All right, so once you understand the holographic line settings and stream location, universal lines or clock lines, you have 1 provision line cycles, center line communications, ground line centers, operation surface, and set location. All right, which process all line calculates stream location of yin and yang. Setting correlation setting of figure 8 and line communication of travel settings, all levels of operation of the future of the now. Okay, so that's what we're coming into. We're coming into all levels of 3 clock line centers in high position locations and all calculation settings of a 24 wave line cycle and a 24 line infinity line rotations of infinity 8 circles and high calculation settings of the future adaptations of now, of the past, present, future in the existing locations of triangulation, reset position locations of box, triangle, and triangulation box, and set position attraction. Mega multi-pass. Okay, we're done. That's it. So it's a great way to basically see yourself coming in provision. But I just want to show you how powerful it is and how you see yourself in the existing of the existed in set locations. All right. So it's incredible when you see these line communication line center Toledo. But it's incredible how you come into all settings, guys. It's incredible. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing where we're coming into. Absolutely amazing. Okay. And you guessed it. Absolutely amazing. Confirmation from the dog. All right. All right. Closed line calculations of portals, line interference, high position locations, pre-flight your check lines, and high center interference of child communication setting attractions. Get in levels of operation of future of the now. See you in 5. Adios.